Welcome. I'm Sam Gardner. We're here with Ricardo Villar, the CEO of the Florida Cup. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're so excited here at Florida Citrus Sports to have the Florida Cup now as part of our family, and we're ready to get to work. And we thought it'd be nice to just take a few minutes to sit down with you and help our members and our fans and folks around Orlando get a better idea of who you are and what this tournament is and what it can be. If that's all right with you, we'll get right to it.
No problem. Let's go, Sam.
You grew up in Brazil, but you played college soccer here in the United States at Penn State. Mm-hmm. Can you just kind of, what's the elevator pitch? What's the story of how Ricardo came to Penn? Tell me the first 17 years or 18 years.
All right, let's start from that beginning. So I grew up in São Paulo, and I played in the youth side of São Paulo FC, just like Kaká did. Pato, that just joined Orlando City now, didn't come from São Paulo, but came from that youth side, in his case Inter. And in there you had to choose between education and soccer, in case the only sport in Brazil really. It was a hard thing to do because my parents always wanted me to continue to study and all. So came an opportunity where a coach by the name of Barry Gorman, who was the head coach at Penn State at the time. I didn't know that much about college soccer, to be fair. Came down and some event happening in Brazil, maybe a coaches convention or something of the sort, coach education, I don't know, and saw us play. And at that time he reached out to a translator and said, look, these midfielders, if any of them have an education and stuff, we offer scholarships to go to the US.
Right.
I was the only one, I think, at the time that would qualify or had a chance to do it. I had to travel, take the TOEFL, the whole thing, but long story short, I got the scholarship to come, and I graduated as an engineer in Penn State in 2001 before joining the MLS, as the draft and the beginning of everything. But that transition was not the easiest one when you're not fluent with the language. So the first GPA year is like tough.
Right.
But and also don't expect to be so professional the college sports level here. Better. The infrastructure was better than what I seen back home playing in probably the best club in the country. So that was, I think, a surprise to me in a good way. And after that, getting to be an All-American and those awards, kind of brought back that dream to become a professional.
Outside of soccer, how did you find the learning experience at the university to be in terms of preparing you for what you've done since?
Becoming a student athlete really something that doesn't exist in Brazil, like I said. So it was tough. Language, also playing. My first year at Penn State as a freshman, I think I started 2 matches and hadn't had any goals, not any assists. Wasn't able to help much as a scholarship student, right? But it wasn't I needed to go through that adapting period, and like everything, you adapt or die, and I needed to, whether it was the culture of the locker room or things that were different than the way I played soccer back home, football back home we called. It was just a learning curve, and once I matched that physical toughness that the American athlete has and brought in my skills, I think that's when I started getting those recognitions. And I wasn't even expecting to be drafted by MLS. I didn't even know what MLS draft was when it happened. It was the beginning of the league. To come back now and see what the league became is it was a nice surprise. Back at the time, with a diploma in my pocket, I decided to go and play pro.
To be able to go from country to country and kind of be able to sense the culture in different places and how they view soccer, how they approach it, I feel like that is all a part of the education.
No, it is. No, it's and I think one of the things that helped me grow, was changing those environments and cultures and everything else, and being able to adapt and get the job done before I moved on to wherever other place would be. But when you go into your soccer professional career, it's a global sport. So you could be in a team, and it's not like here you're, playing NFL, you're traded, you just go to a different state. And people, you go to a different continent. And I did well in the beginning in Austria for playing for Salzburg. From there, I went to Korea, and it was in the hype of, they had hosted the World Cup in 2002 with Japan. So it was different experience altogether. From there, I went back to Kaiserslautern in Germany, which is famous historian, big club in the past, and nowadays struggling. Met my wife, played in Germany for years, came here to the States, finished my career back in FC Dallas, where I was drafted 10 years before.
Very full circle.
A lot of challenges along the way. You put that in the bag, bring that experience forward. And everywhere I've been, even when I got to FC Dallas, I was hired and got it there. And then the coach is like, you don't have the physical ability to compete here. And I was like, wow, okay. So I mean, figure out a way to make it happen and go through those challenges. The same in college, it was the same in the end. And yeah.
Did you find, I don't want to put you on the spot, but did you have any particular moments that stand out from your past or your playing career that were like true culture shock? Like, oh boy, I'm really somewhere new, or I'm really somewhere different this time.
I mean, cultural shock was South Korea. But like a moment that I say like, wow, when I was in Kaiserslautern, we had a game against FC Bayern. And it was at Allianz Arena, and it was 2006. I had just watched Brazil play Australia in the World Cup in the same stadium, and we're going into that game where they were the favorite by far. We lost 1-0, but stepping in that field, playing that game, against Philipp Lahm, Schweinsteiger, I mean, the whole team was Oliver Kahn in goal. Having that experience is almost like you floating, in that field. Like it was a special moment. And I mean, so many in career, but that one that felt, unique, and you see all the struggle they go through in reaching that, like personally was something that was nice to live.